Hi citizens and hello world. It's 10:30 in the morning, Monday, April 18, 2022. Live from the #1 news portal in the Philippines, this is JR Namukale, giving you the hottest, latest, and newest news in the field of education. This is GNA News. For the headlines, Eduardo Roy Jr. releases Family Ordinario is now on Netflix. SBM team of Bulihan Integrated National High School leads the benchmarking activities. Teachers of Division of Cavite commemorate Women's Day. And Bulihan Integrated National High School continues limited face-to-face classes. Those are the headlines, now news in details. The school-based management of Bulihan Integrated National High School is spearheaded by Dr. Cristina M. Ostria, Principal 4, successfully conducted the benchmarking activities last February 22, 2022. The Bulihan Integrated National High School SBM team, which currently at the Level 2 and is now preparing for the Level 3 of practice, has been one of the key factors envisioned to effect enormous improvements and changes in the school. Being the top list among the performing schools in the Division of Cavite based on the performance and 5th in the entire Region 4A, it only proves that the school is an effective partner in securing in-house technical assistance and best practices, which other schools can emulate for the betterment of the leadership, programs, projects, and services not just only for the stakeholders, but also for the students specifically. The strike of COVID-19 has paralyzed and immobilized all the agencies and sectors of the country. Even the educational system, not only in the Philippines but around the globe, was detrimentally hit too. However, because of the shared partnership and the drive to continue the education, schools offer numerous ways and wider opportunities to provide better services for the students. And as they continue making steps towards continuous developments, teachers of the Division of Cavite have to be constantly reminded of what Schools Division Superintendent Romel C. Bautista and CID Chief Elpidia B. Bergado always say, serbisyong pang-edukasyong tapat at sapat para sa batang Caviteño. Meanwhile, Bulihan Integrated National High School continues limited face-to-face classes. Let's have correspondent Gerard Cabrera for the details. Gerard? Yes, JR. After years of waiting for the implementation of limited face-to-face classes, it's now finally happening. The first week of the limited face-to-face classes among the strands in the senior high school department of Bulihan Integrated National High School was successfully done with the help of the teachers and stakeholders last February 14 to 18, 2022. With all the strict protocols and safety measures in all the visible corners of the school, it has been a piece of cake for all the chosen senior high school students to finally meet each of them in person. The success of the limited face-to-face classes was evidently reflected to the reports presented to the focal and designated persons. No cases and traces of COVID-19 among the students were reported, hence the continuation was considered on top of the list. On February 21, 2022, the resumption of face-to-face classes for the second week was conducted. The strands listed to have scheduled classes were STEM, SMAU, EIM, BPP, and the FBS. The greatest students have just taken the challenges of face-to-face classes. JR, some of these greatest students have struggled attending face-to-face classes. Right now, these students will share one of the struggles they have encountered with their subject, specifically in English class.
I am Jerome Cabaltera, grade 10 student. And nahirapan po ako sa English class sa topic na literary approaches, especially sa Marxism and feminism.
Now, to help these students with their English subject, the GNA News has invited one of the competent teachers of Bulihan Integrated National High School to explain the ideas behind the approaches used in the literary criticism, Marxism, and feminism. Let's have Mr. Gerald Armington, grade 10 English teacher of BI-NHS Division of Cavite. Good morning, everyone. I am Gerald Armington, and I am a graded teacher from Bulihan Integrated National High School, and I am here to discuss to you the ideas behind the approaches in literary criticism, specifically the Marxism and the feminism approach. Are you ready? Alright, so let's begin. One thing that you have to bear in mind upon critiquing a particular paper is what does a critic do? Now, first and foremost, you have to demonstrate a clear understanding of the material being critiqued along with the author's purpose and author's meaning. So that's one thing that you have to consider upon critiquing or studying and evaluating a particular literary text. Second, you also have to analyze that material by dividing it into its main sections or approaching its aspects. Take note that whenever you write a certain critique, it should be in an essay form, dividing into its sections, into main sections, like the introduction, the body, the recommendations, the like and dislikes, and many more. It also should be defining and discussing the meaning and importance of each of the sections, and last one uses all this information on identified set of criteria to judge the worth or value of the material. Now, let's proceed to the Marxism and the feminism approaches. Let's begin with the Marxism. Marxism is developed, proposed, and named after Karl Marx. So basically, he is a proponent of what we call Marxism approach. What does it focus on? First, it focuses on the power struggles of the main characters. Second, you have to take note that these concerns to class differences, economic as well, and the implications and complications of the capitalist system. Now, in the class differences, this is how it looks like. In a certain society, this one is being represented by a triangle. We have here three different class or social classes. One is the higher class, the second one is the middle class, and the third one is the lower class. Then, we also have what we call the capitalist approach or the capitalist system. And lastly, Marxist critics are also interested in how the lower or working classes are oppressed in everyday life and in literature. Now, according to Marxism or according to Marxist approach, we have what we call the bourgeoisie, and we also have what we call the proletariat. Okay? Now, bourgeoisie is considered as the ownership class and proletariat is considered as the working class. Now, we take one example in the classroom. If Mr. Armington is your boss and you students are the working people, then I am considered as the bourgeoisie or considered in the higher class. Then you people, since you are working for me, then you are considered as the proletariat or the working people. Now, in critiquing a particular literary work under the Marxist approach, these are the following questions that you have to bear in mind. First, whom does it benefit if the work or effort is accepted, successful, and believed? Second, what is the social class of the author? Third, which class does the work claim to represent? Fourth, what values does it reinforce? What values does it reinforce? We also have here what values does it subvert? Next, we also have here what conflict can be seen between the values of work champions and those it portrays. Second to the last, what social classes do the characters represent, and how do characters from different classes interact or conflict? So these are the following questions that you have to bear in mind whenever you are critiquing or studying and evaluating a particular literary text under the Marxist approach. Next, let us now move on to the feminism. Feminism or the feminism approach is actually one of the approaches being used in literary criticism. But what does it focus on? First, the gender relationships of the characters in the story. Say for instance, you are reading a particular text, then you have to identify the relationship of the women and the men with each other and all the characters in the story. Second, it advocates gender equality, especially towards women. Take note, class, One of the misconceptions that we have in our society, feminism focuses only towards women, but that is incorrect. Why? Because feminism advocates gender equality in which, in a certain percentage, for instance, 60% goes to women, 20% goes to men, and 60% goes to LGBT. Alright, now let's move on to the questions. The following questions that you can use in critiquing or studying and evaluating a particular literary text using the feminist approach or the feminism approach. Now, what are the questions? First, let's have, is the author male or female? Second, is the text narrated by a male or a female? Third, what types of roles do women have in the text? Are the female characters the protagonist or the secondary and minor characters? Another set of questions that can be used are the following. Do any stereotypical characterizations of women appear? How does the author's culture influence his or her attitude? And what are the attitudes of male characters towards the female characters? So, these are the following questions that you can take into account in order for you to successfully critique, evaluate, and study a particular literary work, may it be a poetry or a short story, using the feminist approach. So again, those are the ideas behind the Marxism and the feminism approach. I hope you were able to get the ideas behind that, and pretty much in the next succeeding years, you might be also using the Marxist approach and the feminist approach in critiquing a particular literary work. That's all. Thank you. Thank you, Gerard, and also to Mr. Armington. Those are today's breaking and blazing news. Again, this is J.R. Namukale. For more latest updates and newest news in the field of education, keep on watching GNA News.